Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday with your host Nicholas Thompson, where you can find exquisite recommendations for your fabulous taste in music. Here I will be reviewing and talking about music that I've listened to from the previous week. I will be talking about classic, memorable icons of the music industry such as Bruce Springsteen, and also be talking about ongoing and bands that are of the time and of the modern age, such as Foo Fighters, and also talking about independent and unique artists of the time, such as Olivia Rodriguez. Now, let's start off with the first recommendation. Greetings from Asbury Park, NJ, or New Jersey, by Bruce Springsteen. This is Springsteen's first debut album from 1973, so it has reached its 50th anniversary, I believe. Springsteen stated, whilst recording this, that he felt that artists weren't paying much attention they should be towards the lyrics than they are by the technical capabilities that they have been given. So Springsteen focused hard and focus his attention towards the lyrics and the story that he tries to tell. I think that is a very appealing story to listen to. Also, Springsteen took influences from one of his idols, Bob Dylan, and I think if you like Bob Dylan's type of folk music, folk rock, I believe you would like this. So yeah, also it has a humorous melody and has positive notes too, with also saxophone by Clarence Clemens, Mike Apples, and producing by Mike Apples, and who was it? Background vocals by Finney Lopez. I believe that with this group of individuals, with what he's founded and kept with, I think that adds to Springsteen's unique storytelling techniques for his music. Some of my favourite tunes is Mary Queen of Arkansas, Growing Up, and Spirit in the Night, I think it's called, yes. So let's move on to the next recommendation. Bebe by Bebe Rexha. Now, this album is no other was a fun album to listen to, with the artist taking influence from the 70s and 80s pop vibes and having some elements of dance, and it just has an energizing feel to it, I shall say. And the artist has stated that her influence for this album was artists such as Diana Ross and Fleetwood Mac. Also, this is the artist's first studio album, and it's to follow her previous album, Better Mistakes. Also, what I liked about this album is its memorable lyrics and tunes that are in it. She also felt very proud of releasing this, and it gave just great honor releasing this. I have to say, it gives you it leaves you with a great feeling after leaving it. And the songs, well, what can I say about the songs? The songs are some of the best I've heard. All of them are great, really, but some that I think are particularly excellent is a Satellite, Call on Me, I'm Good, a remix version of that song, and I am not high, I am in love. So yeah, that was brilliant. Also, just it takes you back to those 70s and 80s vibes that it tries to recreate, and I think she's done a perfect job. So yeah, and it was just such a joy to listen to, and it leaves you in a great feeling after listening to it. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Let's move on to the next recommendation. Bewitched by Laufey. This is, well, how can I put this? It's just a wonderful sound of chorus and vocalist by the artist. The artist has stated that she felt a relation and attachment with jazz artists of later passing, and that with new pop vibes and new pop with pop being more of a modern take of music, she felt she wanted to take it back a bit and what's the word? Just put more focus into chorus and sound and leading vocals and beautiful vocals. Particularly, I think that Laufey is a tribute. No, I'm not saying she's a tribute artist, but she plays tribute to great artists of past of jazz and swinging jazz of later year. I whilst listening to this, I got glimpses. I think for me, she reminds me of artists from later year of like Tammy Winters and the Quartets, with their vocals being sweet and not just not of population. I think it's just, her vocals are sweet and memorable and iconic in a way, as jazz swinging jazz artists are, with the leading vocals and the great way of telling storytelling, whilst not being slow but being attention seeking, with the beautiful storytelling that they tell for the genre of jazz. The music, particularly, is wonderful with the stories that she tells, which she says is a focus on love, and also she says that this album is to pay homage of how it feels to be young and the magic of love of being young. As this is her second studio album, uh, she, I think she's got a long and prosperous career in this music industry, I believe. So yes, some of my favorite songs I would say is California and Me, Love Stick, and yeah, there's just such a wonderful way of singing. It's beautiful swinging jazz. I would say is particularly what it is singing, but. If you want to take a step out and take a modern approach to modern jazz and swinging jazz, I think this is a great contender of modern jazz, and it just shows you that jazz and this 50s vibe, 50s way of playing music, and this very old-fashioned genre is still living and growing as it has ever been. So yeah, and let's move on to the next recommendation. Unreal Unearth by Hozier. This is Hozier's first studio album. He said that this album has been a long wait since he was writing the album during the horrible era of COVID-19 during lockdown, and he was writing about his feelings during this time. Uh, and he said that he got inspiration by Dante's Inferno, which tells the tale of the six circles of hell. I think, yes, and he also stated that the album has some type of repulsive sound to it that leans into yes, and the themes of the album is sin and sight of acknowledgement, and he says that it's quite electric, the album. So yeah, um, it's also he takes some influence from his native language of being Irish. I think that's what he was saying, and that some of his personal side, his personal feelings that he expresses through his language and his culture, and it's hard to get that across other cultures. But I think even though he's from a different culture, a different environment than uh, other cultures, that you still get a fully understanding of what he talks about lust and just not happiness, really, that think that the album tries to explore. And it's a sad album. It's a sad, upsetting. It's not a heartbreak album. I wouldn't say that. It's just a sad, emotional album. And I think sometimes artists and music have to go into that void, and we need to explore that, since most albums are about heartbreak. They're not really about any other emotions, really. There's albums about anger and sadness, but there's no really album that really goes into other parts of sadness, like just being sad and the emotion. And I think this album goes into that, and I just really enjoyed listening to it. It was just what's the word I'm looking for? But it was just beautiful instrument playing, beautiful. It was slow in rhythm, but it kept you listening because you just wanted to hear what the next track was about, what's the story about, and what's like get an insight of the artist's feelings and what his emotions were at time of recording. So we get an insight of that, and I think we would all agree that how can I say this um that yes, I would agree that this album does go into the insight of how we felt during COVID-19, and we wish to forget that sad era of time and the loss that we suffered during that time. So I think this is a great album. To I think it does it just go into COVID-19 and that, but I think it goes into other emotions and just other parts of the human mind. I would say I like the name, the title of this album, Unreal Unearth. I just think that's just a unique title that I think caught my appeal. And yeah, let's move on to the next recommendation. Valentine by Snail Mail. I think I'm saying that correctly. Uh, this is a beautiful album, and this is, I think, her debut album. And she stated that this work that she's done is considered as the greatest challenge of her life, and she put a lot of heart and a lot of soul, and she makes sure that she put down the finer details of what she wanted to like to say to what does music mean. And I think that has she's put that down perfectly. She also stated that it suggested that you should listen to this in a dark room with the room only being lit by an old oil lamp, and you only can see the lighting, only see enough to read the lyrics of the album, and you should do this throughout track 10. Also, I think some elements that you will recognize with this album is some parts of E-pop with a mix of rock. I I just really enjoyed listening to this. Like, I enjoy everything that I listen to, really. I haven't said anything bad about anything that I've listened to apart from Neil Horn, I think. Niall Horn, or whatever you call him. Anyway, some of my favourite songs that I've enjoyed listening to this is some of the beginning tracks, such as Ben Franklin and Headlock. I really enjoyed these two tracks since they were so in tempo, but kept your interest in the story and what the artist tried to tell. And she's really proud of what she's produced here. I am. I enjoyed it. And I think if you like artists, if you like Camilla Campbell or what, I can't remember her name, but you know who I'm trying. You know who I'm trying to say. But if you like mid-country, like easy on the road music, I highly suggest this. It's very beautiful, beautiful chorus, beautiful instruments, and a beautiful vocalist. As a Snail Mail is the lead vocalist. I highly recommend this if you want to take a step out of what you usually listen to, since the stories are different from other tales that you've been told throughout albums and listening. So yes, I suggest that. So let's move on to the final recommendation. Utopia in all capitals by Travis Scott. This is Travis Scott's fourth studio album, and I represent as a landmark towards the artist, since it's I think it's considered a landmark since it shows his that he's found a place in sort of what he consider his place in the music industry, and even still he's still evolving as an artist and using new techniques and new methods of recording, performing, and remixing and production. People stated that this is it's very influenced by Kanye's technique of how to record, which I think is a bit light at this moment, but he's hasty. But I think it's still a great album with some great tunes, with some of my favourite tunes saying "Thank God" and "God's Country" and "I Know," and I just enjoyed this tune. It's a great example again of rapping and different techniques of rapping, and I think it's unique still from its. I would say it's a standpoint of it takes a lot of different takes rapping, takes I think a bit of soul, a bit of E-pop. It takes a lot of it takes like if I was guessing four genres and put them together and then make this wonderful thing. And I think you would enjoy this since Again, it's Travis Scott. Also, he took a lot of. I think Drake makes an appearance on this album, and I just enjoyed. It's just an enjoy. It's if you want to get into modern rapping, there's a lot of people who I could suggest, like Stormzy or whatever. But I really like Travis Scott, and I think this is an example of his work. And yeah, I think it's wonderful. It takes a bit of weapon. I think the engineering and remix is done quite well, and also done in a way that makes him stand out from other artists. So yeah. Now, now let's move on to the last part of Music Monday. That's us move forward from the recommendations. I know we're down from one again. I apologize. It's just not that. I was going to talk about an album, but I just could not find anything to talk about. Plus, my research, there was not much to research about the album, about the artist. So we'll move on from that. So let's move on to the album cover of the week, which, if I have to say, from what I've reviewed this week, the best album covers that I've seen from the albums that I've listened to is between two. It's Greetings from Asbury Park, NJ or New Jersey by Bruce Springsteen, or Bebe by Bebe Rexha. Between those two, I think the best album covers. Also, so that's us done that. Let's do the song of the week, which I think the song of the week that I have to say must be. There's a lot to suggest. I think. Let me think. Best song of the week. What have I listened to right now that's really big? Love Lines by LP, which is from his it's from his up and coming album that's soon to come out. I enjoyed it. It's a bit LP's. He's mix of a rock country really, and I think it's something to look forward to since it gives you an insight of what we can expect in his new album, which I think is called the same name, Love Lines, and I really enjoyed that. And I just wanted to add, what I've been listening to personally is actually I've been getting into Al Mopa, who spins Spanish Eyes. He takes a lot of songs and takes his vocals, which I think are very unique in their own way. Like he's from the 60s era of classic music. Also been getting into some Dean Martin again, back into Sinatra. I've been enjoying Sinatra a bit, been enjoying like its underappreciated stuff like The Summer Knows, and his also his what you call it, his remix 70s stuff that he did, such as he did his own version of Sweet Carolinas and Bad Bad Leroy Brown. I enjoyed that. So yeah, and some Sammy Davis. So really the Rat Pack I would say I've been listening to. So yeah. And I know the end of the month is coming up. I still haven't talked about some of the new stuff that's coming up. I will be glad to inform you that I will be talking about the up and coming stuff, the new stuff from Demi Lovato and Olivia Rodriguez, and I will be reviewing hopefully next week. All the stuff that I'll be reviewing will be totally brand new, out of the box albums. So yes, I will be reviewing new stuff next week. So yeah. Just wanted to say again, thank you for listening. I think you should also remember I'm now on Spotify, so if you want to find me over there, you can. So yeah, so yeah. What else? Yeah, I've just been. Oh, also, you know what I've been keeping in my head is, you remember I reviewed Jungle by Volcano by Jungle. I've been listening to back on 74, back in 74. I think it's called Back in 74. A brilliant dance song. If you want to dance all night long, I would highly recommend that. So yeah, that's me for the week. Please remember you can find me on YouTube and now Spotify. I will see you next week. Hopefully we'll go and review all the new stuff that's come out. Yes, so thank you again for listening. Just thank you so very much. I'll see you next week. Goodbye, and have a good, and like I say, bye. Have a great time.